Marcus still refusing to answer my calls.
One man nodded. He's serious about leaving. Victor laughed. But there was no humor in it.
No one leaves.
Silence filled the room. Victor leaned forward.
Tell him something for me.
What? Victor's eyes narrowed.
Tell him family doesn't quit.
The room became colder.
And traitors don't live long.
Every city has two stories. The story people hear about and the story people live. The story people hear about is written in newspaper headlines, crime reports, political speeches, and statistics. But the story people live? That story is written in tears, prayers, second chances, and the quiet courage of ordinary people trying to do better than yesterday. This is the story of Redemption Heights, a city divided by violence, a city wounded by political corruption, a city where poverty is a family inheritance, a city where many children grow up believing they have only two choices: be victims or become predators. But even in the darkest places, hope refuses to die. And sometimes, God writes his greatest miracles in the lives people have already given up on. This is the story of Marcus Knight, a young man whose past seemed impossible to escape, and the woman who never stopped believing he could become more.
The streets of Redemption Heights were alive, not with joy, not with opportunity, but with survival. Sirens echoed through narrow streets. Graffiti covered abandoned buildings. Young men stood on corners, pretending they weren't afraid. Children learned too early how to recognize the sound of gunshots. For Marcus Knight, this world was all he had ever known. At 25 years old, he had already lived through more violence than most people experience in a lifetime. And every scar carried a story. Marcus was a third-generation Caribbean American. His grandfather emigrated from Threadways in St. Catherine, Jamaica, to make a better life for his family. He never got the chance. He was gunned down at a bus stop one morning on his way to work. He had been an honest man. There was nothing just about his reward. His father had joined the army, and his older brother Charlie had followed in his footsteps. Both died at war. Ultimately, all the men in his family had died by a bullet. Charlie had taught him to shoot. Learning to shoot had come too easily to him. The streets called him Marksman, because Marcus Knight has never missed. Marcus stood outside a small grocery store. His hands were buried in his jacket pockets. His eyes constantly scanned the street. Years in a gang had taught him to never relax, never trust, never show weakness. A teenager approached him nervously. "Marcus?" Marcus turned.
What?
The boy smiled awkwardly. "I heard you got out." Marcus stared.
Who told you that?
"Everybody's talking about it." Marcus shook his head.
People talk too much.
The teenager hesitated. "Is it true?" Marcus looked away.
Yeah.
The boy's eyes widened. "You really left?" Marcus nodded. The teenager lowered his voice. "How?" Marcus chuckled bitterly.
Trust me, youth. Leaving is the easy part.
The boy looked confused. Marcus continued.
Staying out? That's the hard part.
The teenager slowly nodded. Marcus could see himself in the young man's face. The same confusion, the same hunger, the same desperation to belong somewhere. And it hurt, because Marcus knew exactly where that road ended. Across town, inside an abandoned warehouse, several men gathered around a table. At the head sat Victor Kane,
otherwise known as Crack Kane, the most feared gang leader in Redemption Heights. Victor leaned back in his chair. His expression darkened.
Marcus still refusing to answer my calls.
One man nodded. He's serious about leaving. Victor laughed. But there was no humor in it.
No one leaves.
Silence filled the room. Victor leaned forward.
Tell him something for me.
What? Victor's eyes narrowed.
Tell him family doesn't quit.
The room became colder.
And traitors don't live long.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Brianna Martin stood inside a community center. The room buzzed with activity. Children laughed, volunteers organized supplies, tutors helped students with homework. Brianna moved from table to table, encouraging, teaching, listening. At 21 years old, she was already becoming a respected youth leader. Her dream was simple: graduate college, become a lawyer, fight for people who never had a voice, break the cycle of poverty that had trapped generations of her family. A young girl tugged on her sleeve. "Miss Brianna?" Brianna smiled. "Yes, sweetheart?" The child frowned. "Why do you help everybody?" Brianna laughed softly. "That's a big question." The girl nodded seriously. Brianna knelt beside her. "Because somebody helped me." The girl thought about that. "And now you help us?" "Exactly." The child smiled. "That's nice." Brianna chuckled. "Yeah." Then her expression softened. "It really is."
Later that evening, a church hosted a community outreach program. Food was being distributed. Families gathered together. Music played softly. Marcus almost turned around when he saw the church. Almost. But hunger has a way of humbling pride. He entered quietly, trying not to attract attention. Then he heard a familiar voice. "Marcus." He froze, slowly turning. Brianna stood behind him, smiling, not judging, not afraid, just smiling. Marcus shook his head.
How do you always find me?
Brianna laughed. I could ask you the same thing. Marcus couldn't help smiling. For a brief moment, just a brief moment, the weight he carried felt lighter. Brianna handed him a plate. "You eaten today?" Marcus shrugged.
Maybe.
Maybe?
I had some chips.
That doesn't count. Marcus chuckled.
According to who?
According to every nutrition expert in history. Marcus laughed. A real laugh. The kind he rarely allowed himself. And Brianna noticed. Because she always noticed. They sat outside the church. The evening breeze cooled the air. For several moments, neither spoke. Then Brianna finally asked, "How are you really doing?" Marcus stared at the ground. The honest answer frightened him, because nobody had asked that question in years. Not really. Finally, he sighed.
I don't know.
Brianna waited. Marcus continued.
Every day I wake up thinking somebody's coming after me. I keep hearing voices.
Brianna looked concerned. What voices? Marcus shook his head.
Not like that.
He laughed softly.
Voices of people I hurt.
His eyes lowered.
Mistakes. The regrets. The guilt.
Brianna listened carefully. Marcus continued.
You ever wish you could rewind your life?
Brianna nodded. Sometimes. Marcus smiled sadly.
Yeah,
Then his voice dropped.
I'd rewind mine a lot.
Brianna looked directly at him. Can I tell you something? Marcus shrugged.
Sure.
You are not the same person you used to be. Marcus immediately shook his head.
You don't know that.
I do.
No,
His voice hardened.
you know who I want to be.
Brianna didn't back down. And you're becoming him. Marcus laughed bitterly.
You don't know what I've done.
Brianna's eyes remained steady. Maybe not. She paused. But I know what you're doing now. Marcus looked away. Brianna continued. People change, Marcus.
Not everybody.
Some do. Marcus sighed.
Maybe.
But deep inside, for the first time, he wanted to believe her. 3 nights later, Marcus walked home through a quiet alley. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. Too many footsteps. His body immediately tensed. Old instincts returned. 3 men emerged from the shadows. Victor's men. Marcus stopped walking. One of them smiled. Crack Kane says hello. Marcus remained silent. Another stepped forward. He wants a meeting. No. The smile disappeared. That wasn't a request. Marcus clenched his fists. I'm done. The man's face hardened. No. He stepped closer. You're not. The tension became unbearable. Marcus knew what was coming. The first punch landed without warning. Then another. And another. Soon Marcus was on the ground. The men kicked him repeatedly. Finally, they walked away. One of them turned back. This is your warning. Blood dripped from Marcus's face. The man pointed at him. Next time won't be. The next morning, Marcus sat in a church office. Ice pressed against his bruised face. Pastor James looked concerned. What happened? Marcus laughed painfully.
You know exactly what happened.
Pastor James nodded. Crack Kane? Marcus nodded. Then the pastor asked, Are you afraid? Marcus stared out the window. For a long moment. Then answered honestly.
Yeah.
The pastor smiled gently. That's not weakness. Marcus looked surprised.
Really?
No. Pastor James leaned forward. Courage isn't the absence of fear. He paused. It's doing what's right, despite fear. Marcus thought about that. The words stayed with him. Long after the conversation ended. Weeks passed. Marcus continued attending church, continued staying away from the gang, continued fighting battles nobody could see. Then, one afternoon, he visited the community center. Brianna looked shocked. Marcus. Marcus smiled awkwardly.
Hey,
What are you doing here? He shrugged.
Looking for work?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Doing what? Marcus looked around.
Helping.
The answer surprised even him. Brianna smiled. A genuine smile. The kind that reaches the eyes. Come with me. She led him to a basketball court behind the center. Several teenage boys were arguing loudly. 1 basketball. 10 opinions. 0 peace. Marcus watched for 30 seconds. Then walked onto the court.
What are y'all arguing about?
Everyone stopped. One teenager pointed. He cheated. Another shouted. No, I didn't. Marcus sighed. Then laughed. The boys looked confused. Marcus shook his head.
I survived game wars.
He pointed at the basketball.
And this is what we're fighting over?
Several boys started laughing. The tension disappeared. And for the first time, Marcus realized something. The kids listened to him. Not because he was feared. Not because he was dangerous. But because they respected him. And that feeling was different. Much different. It was better.
Later that day, Brianna watched Marcus interact with the teenagers. She smiled. One volunteer walked beside her. He's good with them. Brianna nodded. Very. The volunteer laughed. You always believed in him. Brianna smiled softly. Because I know what grace can do. Across the court, Marcus helped a young boy practice free throws. The child missed. Again, and again, and again. Finally, the boy groaned. I quit. Marcus chuckled.
No, you don't.
Why not? Marcus bounced the ball back.
Because nobody gets better by quitting.
The boy frowned. What if I keep missing? Marcus smiled.
Then you keep shooting.
The boy tried again. This time the ball went through the net. His eyes widened. I made it. Marcus laughed.
There you go.
And for a moment, watching that child celebrate, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not for someone else. For himself. Sometimes redemption begins quietly. Not with fireworks. Not with dramatic speeches. Not with instant transformation. Sometimes redemption begins with a simple decision. One good choice. Then another. Then another. Until eventually, the person staring back from the mirror looks different than the one you used to be. But every transformation is tested. And Marcus Knight's greatest test was still coming. His past wasn't finished with him. Not yet. And soon, the entire city would discover how far one man was willing to go to protect innocent lives.
Hi there. Thank you for staying with the story. Click on the link to watch the next part and remember to subscribe.